Welcome. Could this maniac save America? There's hope. Oh, there's hope for America. When you see maniacs like this and their platform saying, I'm going to challenge Susan Collins, that old cog in the machine. Heavy emphasis on old. When you see a guy like Platner, old Graham Cracker, a maniac. And for those of you who maybe aren't in the New England region, we call people from Maine maniacs. So this maniac, Graham, who I just learned about today, and hey, what's up, Francis? Good morning to you. And as soon as I find something interesting, something that I feel like the word should be spread about, I'm going to share it with you. So this maniac, Graham Platner, I linked his platform down below in the description, could be the one to help spark the new revolution that saves America. He's saying all the right things. He's got all the right moves. Now, again, who knows how things pan out, because sometimes people say stuff to get into a position of power and then capitalize on that power. They get into the public service and refuse to serve the public. But from what I've been hearing and what I've been seeing, I even reached out to this guy. So we'll see where it goes. But I needed to share this with you, because when you get some kind of good news, you want to share it. Let me give you a look at... Nope. We're going to talk about that in a minute. This is the dude, Graham Platner. This is his website. He wants to go for U.S. Senate. Meet Graham. He's a Marine, U.S. Army vet, oyster farmer, Democratic candidate, running for U.S. Senate in Maine, running to defeat Susan Collins. Well, God willing. God be at your side. May the wind be at your back and the sun be in your face. Defeat her billionaire backers and win back the seat for the working Mainers. I don't know why. He should just call them maniacs like the rest of us in New England do. Being priced out of our homes. And I've personally been witness to the maniac's testimony. This old lady drove down from Maine to buy something off me. And I was just talking to her. I was like, how is it going up in Maine? Beautiful country, I hear. And she said, we've been priced out. So many people have bought second, third homes, or coming in and gentrifying the area, that the taxes on homes have skyrocketed. And if you know anything about the state of Maine, the people who have been living there are generational, okay? That's generational Maine wealth. It's not the same kind of wealth around the country, but it's generational Maine wealth. And now it's been desecrated by billionaires and millionaires. And it was sad, because this was just an old grandma, and talking about her family who's been living in Maine forever and saying, we're getting priced out now. So it's good to see that Maine has a maniac willing, and we're going to go through his platform. But before we're going to go through his platform and some of the stuff he says. And I emailed the dude, because I was like, yo, listen, what can I do to help if you mean what you say and you say what you mean? But I think before we get into the news, we'll let some people join up. I wanted to show you some stuff. I was posting this in the community. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hey, there's 8 of you in here. Why are you guys all cheaping out on the thumbs up? Come on, let's get them thumbs up. I'm bringing you good information, all right? Let me know if you've already heard of Graham Platner. I just like to call him Maniac, because anyone that you've ever met from Maine, you just go, look at that maniac. Nah. 9 people in here. Hit that thumbs up. Why are people so cheap with the thumbs up? I'll hit the thumbs up before I even start watching a video if I like the person, because it's all about the algorithm. And, I think it was CJ or Alma or Timothy or one of the mods was like, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And I was like, man, I'm bad at that. I don't think I care about a thumbs up, but I do recognize game, and the game is about the thumbs upping and the subscribing. So do that, because I'm Rob. I bring you live news commentary every single weekday. I'm here. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, hail. I'm like the goddamn post office. All right? I am here for you. And I'm here to joke about the news, because mostly the news is a joke. So if you're just joining, welcome. you can hit subscribe and you can hit that notification bell, and you can find the comforts of me satirizing and punching up at the billionaire class every single weekday, and most of the time on the weekends. I think Sunday I'm going to hold my first church service. So I think Sunday I'm going to try to hold a church service. If you don't know, I'm an ordained reverend. Okay? So, and I think church has just been manipulated, and it's been disgraced in America. They have confused church and capitalism. In fact, that's what this book, I don't know if you've ever read Strength to Love by Martin Luther King Jr., but he talks about that. He talks about church taking an L to the capitalists' ways. But I wanted to share this with you before we get into the news and the Mainiac who could save America with his politics. It's just good to see somebody who's running for Senate saying these things. Like, even if, you know, turns out he's not who he says he is, he's not an oyster farmer, he's not a maniac. I think he is. I think Graham Platner, what I've seen of him, he looks genuine. He looks, you know, I hope. But even if, let's say, it all doesn't pan out, it's good to see somebody running for Senate saying the things he's saying. And I'm going to get into it. Okay? But first, we need to have a moment, okay? Because we need to all be renewed. Don't you think? Each day, my dad used to tell me before he died, like 20 years ago, each day, splash some water on your face. It's a new day. Anything could happen. Anything, okay? Not just bad stuff. I mean, great things could happen today. That check comes in the mail, you know? That person says that thing to you. You get a hug. A puppy could find you and lick your hand. You could meet a kitten today, you know? You could see a goat. You could see a goat climb a tree. Goats can climb trees. It's nuts. You know, anything could happen. Amazing things can happen today. So I think we all need to be renewed. And what better way to do it than the words of Martin Luther King Jr.? Let me get to, everybody have their book, page 94. I love that I'm running my live stream like a book club. He says, we must accept infinite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. Nothing is more tragic than to be divorced from family, language, and roots. Oh, this is when he was talking about, we're not going to get that part. This is where he was talking about slavery. And now go to the next page, please. Page 95, chapters Shattered Dreams and Strength to Love, Martin Luther King Jr. I'm Rob. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're going to get to the news in a minute. I always cover the news. I bring you news. Sometimes the news isn't actually newsing you. And that's a real tragedy, and we're going to get to that, okay? I'll show you that headline. I'll give you a little tease. We're going to get to that. The Soundbite economics obscures who's causing and profiting from this and all the crises. We're going to get to this in a minute, okay? And I've talked about this. I've made a video on this on my YouTube channel. You can go back. It's called The News is Not Your Friend, or The Mainstream Media is Not Your Friend. I was talking about this. I mean, I love Jacobin. But what is the date on this? I can't see the date. I think it's from today. Jacobin, only magazine I'll pay money for. The rest of them you get through Napster. For those of you old enough to know what that is. But I've talked about this, and I've had people come in the chat and go, oh, you should take Econ 101. And I go, you're an idiot. If you listen to any economists in America that go on, like CBS, ABC, Newsmax, whatever, they're lying to you. CBS had on Larry Summers, the guy who helped crash the economy in 2008, and good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. They had that guy on the news. That's the video I did on my channel. You can go back and watch it. It's in Fox News Maintainment, the playlist. Because I've done a few of these to try to help educate people that, like, when the news presents Larry Summers as like a serious person saying, oh, to help the economy, we need to lay off more people, which is what he said. You can watch the video. The news is not serious. They're not newsing you like they should be newsing you. And I'm going to news you up right. So we're going to get to this. But again, back to page 95 of your reading assignment. I love that I'm running this like a class. Oh, I should be a teacher. I am a teacher. I'm a vibe teacher. I'm your official YouTube vibe coach. There used to be this thing called life coaches, only run by 23-year-old girls that were on MySpace back in the 2000s. And goddamn, if I wouldn't be shocked at how much money they made. So I stole their idea, and I called myself a vibe coach. Why do we only have 2 thumbs up? It's not for me, folks. It's for the algorithm. I've explained. I don't give a shit about it, but help the algorithm, please. Mel, what's up? Last person in America to watch the new South Park episode, but after seeing it, I 100% Satan is Donald Trump on a daily basis. Oh, yeah, he is. Crush Dice, what is up? Good to see you, Crush Dice. Frank Eagle, who watches mainstream media. A lot of people, sadly. Good to hear you don't, Frank. And good to see everybody in the chat. 3 thumbs up. What are you people doing? Hit that thumbs up button. It is not for me. It is so we can outnumber MrBeast. He is doing horrific things, okay? He is the most unoriginal, talentless billionaire, and that's saying something. He just steals ideas from other YouTubers and Netflix and then presents them as his own on Amazon. How weird is that? You know, he's like, I'm going to do, what's that game called? What did he steal? Quiet Place? What did he steal? What's the game? Squid Games. MrBeast is like, I'm going to steal Squid Games from Netflix, make it big on YouTube, and then take that clout I got, bring it to Amazon Prime. This is absolutely the worst of American independent creators. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. You can stop scrolling. We're going to get to the news. I just wanted to renew your faith in yourself today. So, page 95 of Strength to Love by Martin Luther King Jr. Our refusal to be stopped, our, quote, courage to be, our determination to go on, quote, in spite of, reveal the divine image within us. I thought that was so brilliant because God is in us. I know some people say, oh, Jesus was carrying you when you only seen the one set of footsteps. Yeah, but also God made us in his image. That means he's inside of us. It's kind of freaky when you think about it. Is he going to pop out like that alien in that movie? What was that movie called? I think it was called Outer Space Creatures. But God is in us. And how amazing, I mean, this is why Martin Luther was, you know, on fire with them words. And he had the cadence to say stuff like this and make you know. You know, he could make you feel it in your soul. So hit that like button. Only 5 people, 70 of you are slacking. Don't feed the Yagwai. What's up? We're going to get into the news, how the economists in America are poisonous for your mental health. And also, a maniac, that's what us other New Englanders call people from Maine, a maniac named Graham Platner, who could help save America. He could forge America into the new future of 3-day work weeks, universal health care, and a $66 minimum wage. Sean Grogan, he's not talentless and he's not doing terrible things. He actually gives tons of people money and helps them. Oh no. Oh no, Sean, did I offend you? Because I said MrBeast is unoriginal. I didn't say talentless. I said unoriginal. He's an unoriginal POS. And he capitalizes off them. You think MrBeast is doing that stuff when a camera's off? You should read the allegations. I refuse to support predators. That's the other thing. These people who abuse other people. But good morning, Vondit. Or Vonda T, sorry. What a thing to complain about. At least he's not Donald Trump. Well, here's the thing, Sean. Welcome to the live stream. I bring it to people's attention because sometimes people have this thought process. Like goats and sheep. The sheep think someone's a goat and they keep in that sheep mentality. And that's all they do. They don't think outside of it. So they don't think about really what is going on. MrBeast is not doing any original ideas. I think he was doing more original stuff before he was big, when he was like counting to 1 billion or whatever he did to get his numbers up. But even those ideas, when you look at those, and we can have this debate, and I encourage you to bring me some original stuff. The last video I saw of his, because I refuse to watch this garbage, even the dude Chris or the woman Chris, I don't know, I don't follow with them, and I don't want to disrespect pronouns or anything like that, but even his alleged best friend was like, what are we doing here? And he's like, we're going to survive on an abandoned island, which was a lie. You know, it wasn't abandoned. But even his own cast members are like, what are we doing? Like, this is the same thing again. So I'm just saying he's very unoriginal. He stole Squid Games, brought it to YouTube to capitalize on, and then go to Amazon. And I'll just never, if you're a billionaire and if you treat people with disrespect, like something's majorly wrong with your brain functions, you know? Because if you have all of your needs and wants met, never go hungry, never go cold, always have a roof over your head, and you still abuse people, my God, may the Lord pity you. Good evening from Germany. Always creepy. Yeah, Alex Mack. True kindness isn't done in front of a camera. It's done because you want it. Thank you, Vonda. That's all right. You know, I always found it suspect that, you know, he claims to want to help people, but it's never on like any kind of substantial way. MrBeast like wants to put wells places, but he doesn't want to like, in fact, there was one time he did that video where he helped cure blind people or whatever. And then he went on Twitter at the time I was following him and said, I don't understand. This was the despicable thing. He said the ROI on healing these people is substantial. He was like, the ROI is return on investment. He's talking about humans like there's some investments. And he said, I don't understand why the government doesn't do this. And I, you know, replied to him, yeah, you're advocating for universal health care. Nobody understands why we, America, solely don't do that, and every other country has figured it out. And he, instead of looking at his critiques, he got mad and said, oh, Twitter hates me because I help people. And it's like, you're not a basic bitch. You can't have $1 billion and understand things at that basic of a level. And it really showed that he doesn't do shit. Just like when he was not being unique or original and talentless. I guess you're right, Sean. He is talentless, because only a talentless person would need to steal other people's creativity. So you're 100% right. He is talentless. Because it doesn't take talent to hire, well, actually, it does take talent to hire other people, but it doesn't take talent to just steal ideas, you know? And you could see that back when he was coming up. Because when I started on YouTube, everyone said, just listen to MrBeast. And he just said, your video sucks if it's not getting traction. And I thought, that's just not true. There are a lot of great creators out there that, you know, people were alleging he took ideas from. So they had great ideas. They just weren't in the algorithm hitting those likes. And, you know, it just says something. It just says so much that he was just trying to get money. He was never trying to help people. You know, he even thought giving that homeless person, the first person he did, he said, he was like, I knew that was going to get me more views. He wasn't like, I'm changing a guy's life. He was like, I knew it was going to catapult me to the next level. But we're not here to talk about that. Hit subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I go live every single weekday. I'm Rob. We joke about the news because the news is a joke. We're just going over a little reading, and then we'll get into the news. The Mainiac, Graham Platner, who could help spark the new revolution, save America. I'm very impressed. Not sure how I got here, but I'm going to stay a while and continue to check your channel. I appreciate that, Stephanie Edwards. Please do. I'm here almost every single day because I'm bringing you stuff that I think is good for your mind, that might make you laugh, that might make you think differently. And that's very important in this day and age of individuality, yet conformity like a mother. And sorry, I'm not reading the comments. This idiot's still going on with this. Yeah, I'm going to keep pushing until everyone in America has healthcare paid for by billionaires' taxes. All right, so I wanted to show you this. So, yeah, Martin Luther King, the Jr., says, our refusal to be stopped, our courage to be, our determination to go on in spite of, reveal the divine image within us. Take that with you today. When somebody tells you no, when somebody in my comments, U.S. citizen with no avatar, when a troll account tells you this idiot is still going on with his BS about supporting workers and making life livable, not just survivable in America, when people act like that, you remember that Martin Luther King Jr. wrote this book so you could stumble upon it, and I would do a live stream and share it with you. And he said, our refusal to be stopped, our courage to be, our determination to go on in spite of people mouthing off like that, who just enjoy the suffering of others, reveals the divine within us, reveals God within us. Based Boston. We're going to talk about Maine today. I'm very proud of the state of Maine. Very proud that they hand-grown this oyster farmer who's going to challenge Susan Collins' seat. We're going to get to that. But man, this one's, you're not going to be able to read it. You're not going to be able to read it. What page are we on? I can't even see what page we're on. To be concerned. Oh, man. I'm not going to be able to, and I have so many notes in my book, too many notes in my book to find it. My apologies, folks. We're not going to be able to read this last one. Oh, here it is. Any religion that professes to be concerned with the souls of men and yet is not concerned with the economic and social conditions that strangle them and the social conditions that cripple them is the kind the Marxist describes as an opiate of the people. So remember that when you go to church. If they want to, pretend to be followers of Christ, but their only concern is their souls, and they're not concerned with the economic and social conditions that strangle them, the social conditions that cripple them, then that just is, as a Marxist would call it, and I would, an opiate of the people. Let's get to some news. Welcome, I'm Rob. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bells, hit the whistles, hit it all, because that's what we got to do now. We're all like lab rats. Oh, God. We're not, though. We're not lab rats. Corporations, algorithms want you to feel like a lab rat, but we're not. We're not. We're not even AI. AI should be doing our jobs right now, while you and I should be staring at the beautiful skies in front of us. This is what I'm looking at. That's what I see. Sorry, I'm looking out my window. I'm seeing this beautiful, beautiful, tiny lighthouse. Tiny. It's tiny, adorable. Hey, what's up, e-bagging? Good to see you. But so this is what I'm seeing, and I'm telling you this because we are not lab rats. As much as your work wants you to be one, we are not. And this is Graham Platner, the Mainiac I'm about to talk about. I'm going to show you his platform. I linked his platform down below because this dude is a maniac who says it's become unaffordable to live. It's a billionaire economy. So he's not just running against Susan Collins, but against a billionaire class that owns her and all of Washington. We should not settle for politicians who speak in vague generalities about policy. Here's where I stand. And he's going to give us an overview. I like seeing this. This is talking about Citizens United. According to Citizens United, it's every billionaire's constitutional right to buy an election. As a result, we have individuals spending tens and even hundreds of millions of dollars, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, on political campaigns, a scheme of legalized bribery and vote buying that drowns out the voices of regular people, effectively replacing what we used to call democracy. Under this system, the prospects for any meaningful reform are grim. We must throw out of Washington any politician who will not commit to passing a constitutional amendment ban billionaires buying elections. I love it. I love the words you're saying. Goddamn oyster farmers. He should have a calendar. This dude should put out a calendar to raise money. Him and his oyster farm shucking them oysters with saying ban billionaires. Tax billionaires into extinction. I love this dude. Rebuild our healthcare system of for-profit health insurance is a disaster. I would not say it's just a disaster, but in my opinion, it is immoral to say your kid shouldn't get a new wheelchair even though the doctor prescribed him one and says this child needs a new wheelchair, and that mom shouldn't have to go to court for 2 years to fight to get a new wheelchair, but by the time they won the court case, it's already too late and he's already had to live in this old wheelchair for 2 more years, which is a real case that's going on, and it was highlighted after Free Luigi. That news story. Remember the 4th of December. Healthcare is a basic human right, not a privilege, not a perk, a right. As a veteran, I'm fortunate to receive quality care through the VA, but Americans should not have to put on a uniform to fight in misguided foreign wars just to get decent health care. I mean, the words this dude is saying, Graham, you've stolen my heart, homie. My goodness. And this is basic. It's a crazy that people call me the radical woke left because I'm like, healthcare is a human right, the most basic one, like the most basic one. Like we can figure out how to tax billionaires. so much that everyone should be able to get the healthcare they need. Eat the rich. Scooby-Dine. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. Why can't AI just run the world a while? While humans have fun. I vote for that, Mel. I'm all for putting all the AI to work. Give them their little robot bodies that can break dance and do flips, and let them go to the jobs. We should just be looking at skylines, drawing pictures, painting things, writing poems, doing deaf poetry jams. You know what I'm saying? They want to use us not to view each other as human. They're playing games with us. That's right. The wealthy are very well organized. This is the platform of Graham Platner, the Mainiac oyster farmer who's looking to unseat Susan Collins. Here's the one good thing out of this past year is it's inspiring people like this. You know, if you weren't active in politics before, let me tell you, as soon as they start saying billionaires and billion-dollar corporations are at a tax rate lower than you, there's some working people who can't afford a home that are like, yeah, I'm going to get involved. So that's the one good thing. Well, look at this. Support unions. Defend and support public schools. Keep the government out of our private lives. Defend the right to choose. Protect Maine's economy. Raise the federal minimum wage. And he talks about how in New Hampshire, if you don't know, New Hampshire is one of those states where people go, no state has a minimum, even though the federal minimum wage has not moved since 2009, almost 20 years, while Senate keeps giving themselves raises and the Congress does. It's amazing how six-figure salaries need more, but the minimum wage workers don't. So it's federally at $7.25. It's been there since 2009. My mom was protesting it before she passed away, and she's been gone for decades. This is one of those things where when people go, well, no state actually does it. Well, I'm here to tell you that New Hampshire, the live free or die state, I'm guessing a lot of people are dying, because to live free in America, you need more than $7.25 an hour. New Hampshire, that great old state where if you bring a couple of pounds of cannabis to you go to prison, even though every other state, including country around it, you're just a legal adult. Live free or die. What a mockery of that. Oh, God. Anyways, New Hampshire still has their minimum wage at the federal level, $7.25. So New Hampshire does. And he addresses that. New Hampshire is just a twat state, though. Not the people, just the politicians. And billionaire tax dodging. This is the Mainiac Grant Platner, his platform. Link down below. Vonda T. Hope he wins. This is a start for our republic to be repaired. 100%. That's why I say this maniac could save America. Because just the fact that, never mind, I know nothing about this dude. I learned about him today. That's why I'm here live at this time, this early. Because I wanted to share this with you. And you share it with two friends. And they share it with two friends. And they share it with two friends. And that's how viral videos work. So you need to share this with other people. So we can all get on the same page. Because never mind what happens in the election with him and Susan Collins, because I have family in Maine, so I've reached out to them, and they were, you know, I'll give you more insights once I talk more with them. But they are voters in Maine, and they are VA hospital people, and, you know, so they have a huge, I really revere what they say and their insights. And it doesn't matter what comes out of this, because what we're seeing on someone who's running for Senate, what we're seeing, their platform, end billionaire tax dodging. No one's saying that. And who cares that he's running as a Democrat? Because at this point, we need someone to get in there. There's no never mind third parties. They wouldn't let Bernie Sanders. They would not let Bernie Sanders run. They were like, we know he's going to win, but we will push him to the side for this Hillary twattin'. And look at how that went. You know, this is the alternative timeline that we're living, because Bernie Sanders would have won. We would have ended billionaire tax dodging decades ago. So realistically, just the fact that this has a major platform by the Maniac himself, Graham Platner, that's what he should go by, the Maniac, like pro wrestling, because that's what Donald Trump has made this, pro wrestling. But look at this stuff. I mean, he's saying pass a billionaire minimum tax. I love it. I say it should be at 100%. You know, once you hit $1 billion, 100% taxed, and you just have to be a 999 millionaire. I don't know why anyone making six figures a year would be mad at that. You know, I don't get it. You're not making it to 10 figures a year, so, or whatever it is. 12, I don't even know. How many zeros? 3, 6, 9, 12? You're not making it to 13 figures a year. Ain't happening, bitch. You know, you got to exploit a lot of people to get there. Do you understand how billionaires are billionaires? Yeah, they exploit people, asks Scary. Oh, God. Do you not understand how billionaires didn't get there by ethical means? You can't earn $1 billion. It's not how it works. You have to pay people low enough wages so that they have to pee in bottles and they're timed and not allowed to take breaks, like Jeff Bezos does. So yeah, the model is there. The model is there. In fact, you can study it. You can learn about it. The model is there, and we're going to get into the economics of it. Yes, I said economics. Suck it. I don't respect the word. Oh, God. Turbo, you're a friend of Jeffrey Epstein's, or why are you saying vote red? Because you love the people who protect Epstein? It's a creepy thing. So this is Graham. This is the website down below. He wants to uphold. Look at this. Look at how woke this shit is. Uphold tribal sovereignty and self-determination. I love this. I couldn't have come up with a better platform. A better one. How are you going to create jobs if there's no billionaires? Oh, I forgot, Andy Thompson. There were no jobs before there were billionaires. Thank God the billionaires came along and said, I birthed this thing from my canal called a job. Like, get real. You're an idiot. I always like to ask the question, what kind of jobs are billionaires actually creating? Ones that you need 2, 3 jobs to work? Because those aren't good jobs. We don't want them. And they get enough tax breaks and don't pay taxes into the system where they are parasites to our system. Okay? God, I love that someone really came in here and was like, there were no jobs before billionaires, you idiot. We all just stumbled around waiting for one of them to become a billionaire so we could have jobs. Do you hear yourself when you speak, or do you just say shit and hope other people pat you on the head? My Christ. Guys, please stop being so stupid. This article I linked down below, Jacobin Magazine, Soundbite Economics, obscures who's causing and profiting from the crisis. Now, I did a video on this 2 or 3 years ago. I love that it's finally written in an article that is probably well done by Jane, because Jacobin is chef's kiss into the literary, whatever you want to call it, literary contributions they add to our society, because they are amazing. Here we go. Let's start at the top. So she talks about how old video was resurfacing. It says this was what the videos talked about. This is how the article starts. Link down below. I linked everything I'm planning to talk about down below. Salutations, Resonance Kinetics. We talked about the Mainiac, Graham Platner, who has an amazing platform. I went over it. You can watch this later. Chief, what's up? Good to see you. I didn't notice you snuck in, Chief. But Graham Platner, the maniac who could save America just by his platform. Just by getting this platform out to enough people. Share this video, share his stuff. If you know people in Maine, tell them to vote. Because money shouldn't decide political agenda or politics in America. It does, but the people should. And Graham's platform is amazing. This maniac, solidarity. I emailed him. I'll tell you what he says when I get a return email. Hopefully he returns his email. But this is how the article we're going to go over about the weaponization of American economics in the media. Economics has become a little bit like Catholic theology in medieval Europe. It has become the language of rulers. So if you don't speak economics, you cannot participate in any debate. But of course, they're not going to let you speak it in the exact same way the Vatican banned the translation of the Bible into local languages in the medieval times. Once you create this body of knowledge, which is not accessible to other people, hold on. You can basically bully other people into accepting your argument because other people cannot understand you. That is brilliant. And I've had people come in here and try to bully me like, oh, you didn't take economics. And it's like, guys, I've been living in this system long enough where I know when they tell me shit, that's a lie. That like doesn't work. That also historically is proven to be wrong. Recent years of economic and social upheaval have brought to brighter light how capitalists use the esoteric language of economics to sell the public on class warfare, because the wealthy are organized and they're not going to let the media inform you. Since the beginning of the pandemic, capitalists and their allies have blatantly instrumentalized economic concepts like inflation, recession, labor shortages, and supply chains to justify ripping off consumers, raising rents and evictions, depressing wages and firing people, to dismiss anyone who objects to these practices as economically illiterate. People do this on my channel all the time, and I just ignore them. Tell them, go to Charlie Kirk or whoever you worship. Get out of here. Aspiring blame for social problems to abstract economic phenomena lets the real culprits off the hook. Let's take a glance. They say nothing about increased concentration of the rental market by corporations, landlords with withholding units to manufacture lower supply and raise prices, or property owners colluding to keep rent high. That was just in the news. The biggest corporate landlord in America said they promised, let's see if that's true, they said they won't use the AI algorithm to raise rents artificially. That's a monopoly in price fixing. I mean, these people are criminal. They should be in prison, but we'll deal with the article. Anyways. Meanwhile, gas prices in the U.S. last summer went off the charts, and energy prices left the poor in the U.K. out in the cold throughout winter. What's responsible? Energy prices. Ignore the fact that oil and gas is more profitable at any point in its history and has been doling out cash to its investors instead of producing more to increase supply. Stock buybacks. If you're a subscriber and notification bell and you join me every day when I go live, or every weekday, you'll know we talked about stock buybacks, how they were illegal until 1982, and the Reagan administration allowed corporations to buy their own stock back to inflate prices, so the compensation packages of CEOs just got bigger while the company suffered, the workers suffered, the consumers suffered. So that's what I was just reading, but I want to get to this. Even the Fed admits that corporate profiteering is driving inflation. I talk about this all the time, and people just can't understand, probably because they, heard Charlie Kirk say something, or Jordan Peterson talk about the lobster economy. Idiots. The lobster economy. In a speech last year, Federal Reserve Vice Chair Brainerd stated reductions in markups could take some of the air out of price increases. The Federal Reserve in Kansas City was more explicit in a recent report, stating markups grew by 3.4% over the year, whereas inflation measured by the price of index personal consumption expenditures was 5.8%, suggesting that markups could account for more than half of 2021 inflation. Markups. Profit margins being widened. Eggs and exploitation. Ivory Tower economists, Washington bureaucrats, and corrupt politicians are not the only ones responsible for the sleight of hand. The media is crucial in consent for the economic crisis. Manufacturing consent, For example, the New York Times article about egg inflation, spending 5 paragraphs blaming the increased demand on global supply disruptions, avian flu, and the war in Ukraine. Then it spends 10 paragraphs blaming rising wages and labor shortages. Critically, there's no evidence whatsoever that the labor market is responsible for exorbitant egg prices on a macro level, but even all the other factors combined can't account for the 138% increase in egg prices. The missing piece? Profit. This is what I talk about, the profit margins. Egg suppliers like Maine Foods, which supplies 20% of our country's eggs, saw an increased profit margins. It's not, the profit margins are, if you have a lemon and you sell it for $1, and then the price of getting the lemon, the workers for the lemon makes it $1.50, that's not part of the profit margins. If you just pass that $1.50 on to the consumer, there you go. You're getting, the new cost of everything. The profit margins is when the cost goes to $1.50 for all the labor shortages, whatever they want to blame, oil prices, war, but instead they raise it to $3. That $1.50 to $3 is the profit margin. Just money they're taking away, just pure profit, not paying for anything extra, and they're passing it along to you. So they saw increased profit margins year over year of 345%. They artificially jack up prices higher than they need to, and they use the cover of labor shortages. You're going to pay people more? No, nobody's gotten paid more. Nobody's got a 26% raise in the past 5 years, even though your dollar is worth 25% less. So we've all lost value in our money. Everybody agrees on that. But when you say, what about inflation for the price of labor? And everybody freaks out and say, what, do you want to pay more for stuff? And I go, we are paying more for stuff, you fucking morons. But it's because they listen to the Charlie Kirks, the Jordan Petersons, the Newsmax, the Donald Trumps, the fucking morons that have a big stake in it to win more money for themselves and consolidate wealth and power. They are perpetrating this I'm an economist, and I know the language, recession, stock, buyback, blah, 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 blah. They're like jokes on South Park. That's why Charlie Kirk took the South Park logo and made it his social media handle, because he understands he's a joke, but he doesn't understand that, like, you know, well, no, I think he does understand the repercussions of it in our community, but he knows he's a joke. And just that alone, like if South Park mocked you in the worst way possible, that you were just absolutely rubbish for humanity, and you were like, yeah, I'm gonna own that, I'm human rubbish. You probably shouldn't get anything from them. God damn, I love the smell of the ocean. I love the smell of the ocean. Oh, I see the people rolling in saying Trump with an American flag. What you're saying to us, just so you know, what we hear on this channel is you support Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. You support him moving Ghislaine Maxwell to a lower security prison. You support his support for chomos and predators and our communities being more dangerous, because you will not hold the powerful, elite, Nepo baby, Donald Jeffrey Epstein, Van Trump, Taco, McCankles, muffin top taco tits. You won't hold him accountable, and your blind faith to a cult leader is making our communities more dangerous, with Ghislaine Maxwell going to a no-walled prison. So when you say that you support Trump, the rest of us, 99% of America are like, why do you support these predators? Why? They are heinous beings. You must either have something in common with them or not have anything up in that noggin of yours. Anyways, professional victim. The woman looks upset. What? Yeah, Jacob's letting us know. You guys should make a video where you're like, I don't care that Trump's hiding the Epstein files. I like that he's hiding them. You should go and do a live stream where you just advocate how much you love that he lied to your face and he's making our streets more dangerous with these predators out there, and his friendship and trafficking ring with them. He's protecting them. Amanda, that's not true. You should look up that Donald Trump reached out to Epstein in 2016 to maybe bring him into the White House. Gross. But I wanted to bring this Jacobin piece to you. But I just need to say that because I feel like Manda and Jacob, you guys don't hear that enough. You're probably surrounded in an area where you guys just all wear MAGA hats and think like, the country's great. While the rest of us live in reality and we're like, why is he protecting all these PDF files? That's suspect. Someone with nothing to hide would just release the files. Very suspect. And all the stuff that, well, maybe you can't read. I don't know. But the president has lied many times. And the war in Ukraine on day one, price eggs lower on day one. I mean, this is the thing. I can't argue you out of being stupid. I like to have hope for a lot of people, but some people are just, content with stupid. They just go, I just believe whatever he says at the time. And if he changes his mind, it's not a lie. He changed his mind on fucking things that he lied about. So it's okay. But I'm here to not only do the news, joke about the news, because the news is a joke. Literally. The news would cover everything else besides the 345% profit margin increase of the egg companies. Why wouldn't they include that? You'd figure that would contribute some to the price of eggs going up. So that's why I say the news is a joke. We're here to joke about it. I'm here to spread the word, share the information. I link everything I plan to talk about down below, and especially this Mainiac, Graham Platner. This Mainiac gives me hope. He's speaking my language. He's not gonna, you guys are just sad. That's all it is. You can't have a discussion with someone who is dead set on just protecting Trump, Epstein's best friend. Like, that's what I want other people to understand, because I deal with these fools all the time. And, they're a nickel for 1,000 of them. They're just all the same. They're low cost, no thought asshats that come in here and parrot whatever the fuck, Charlie Kirk or Jordan Peterson told them to say, Ben Shapiro sent them to say, let's say. So they're no sweat off my back. But if other people have to deal with them, just understand, like, you can't have a dialogue with somebody who is coming in bad faith. And what that means is they just want to they want to protect Donald, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, DJT. That's why he puts the J in there, folks. That's what I think, at least. Why else would he put the J in there? Donald, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump. He's put it in front of your eyes. What happened to all the conspiracy theorists? Come on, you guys were good a few years ago. You guys are getting lame. No more election fraud. Now you think elections are legit? What happened to you? You guys lost your chutzpah. But I'm telling you, no, I don't think he puts it for his middle name. That's your thought. My thought is he's hiding it in the open. I thought you guys were good at conspiracy theories. What a bunch of wuss beta cucks, skibbity rizmas. My God, what happened to your conspiracy theories that no election was safe and mail-in frauds and da-da-da? Like, all of a sudden now you're like, I trust the government. They're my friends. I listen to what they say. You guys are beta cucks for the government. You're like, yeah, his middle name is a J word. It doesn't stand for Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. So says you. But what happened to that shaman that you guys worshipped? Right? He thought all the crazy things. Alex, I mean, you guys just lost it, man. Now you think the election was real? Oh, what a bunch of simps. Babies. Cope with it. Smoke some more copium, losers. DJT, Donald Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Trump. Or it could stand for taco. I don't know. Maybe he's embracing it. But folks, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I go live. I bring you this kind of comedy every single day. We use our imaginations here. We like to think of a world where $66 is the minimum wage. Everybody in America can afford to buy a home because we have 26 empty houses or 25 for every homeless person. There's room, folks. Don't let the lamestream media and these corporate Nepo baby elites, the coastal elites like Donald Trump, don't forget, he's a coastal elite from New York and his dad gave him all his money. So don't let these coastal elites tell you what to think, you bunch of simps. Sheeps, bunch of lobsters. You guys are sad. Oh, are we winning? How's your free eggs? Did everybody get their Doge dividend check, by the way? Remember Elon said, I'm working in the government to make it more efficient, and then he spent $14 billion to pay people to stay home, and then he said, we're going to get Doge dividends checks, $5,000 everyone. Did you guys get yours yet, or no? Did you guys get your Doge dividend check? That's okay if you don't want to answer. Most people don't. Donald Trump cut corporate tax rates. So they pay less taxes than you and your parents or your kids. And the media hides that the egg companies made 345% profit margins, increased profit margins year over year. They won't tell you that, but they'll certainly tell you we got to lay more people off and then cut off employment. Oh yeah, that's great for the economy. Oh, that's so funny. So funny. I've never seen people simp so hard for the destruction of their own communities. So with that being said, share the word about Graham. His platform's down below. I encourage you to read it yourself. Much love, much respect. Hit subscribe and notification bell. You join me every weekday when I go live. Be kind to each other. Do the opposite of what Donald Trump does to everybody else. Unless you're saying what Donald Trump is to Ghislaine Maxwell, because he's very kind to her, which is a little sus, as the kids say. You know, he wished her well. He moved her to the lowest security prison possible. Even broke rules to do it. And so it shows he can be kind. It's just weird who he chooses to be kind to. So, you know what? Scratch all that. Just be kind to your neighbors. Be kind to the vulnerable. Stand up for one another. Stand together. Stronger together. Solidarity.